Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to be taking your questions and I will be answering them. Happy Friday everybody. I hope you guys are enjoying your guys' day. Please go out there, go touch some grass, go hang out with your friends, and overall just have a good time. Barcelona is also going to be playing in about 48 hours, and I'm sure that many of us are going to be very excited to finally see Hansi Flick's Barcelona play once again and against Girona. So in this video, we are going to be very African focused, meaning that we are going to be referencing a lot of African players. We're also going to be speaking about Barcelona squad depth, the Champions League, Gavi, and much more. If you guys want to have top priority in always having your questions answered through the season, the only thing you do have to do is sign up to the membership that I do have on this YouTube channel. So let's get on with the video. And the first question does come from Rody Benixton, and he said this, and I quote, "What do you think about Carlos Baleba from Brighton as a central defensive midfielder for FC Barcelona? Can you make a video about the Cameroonian midfielder?" And so of course, I am going to be making a whole other separate video about this midfielder in a couple of days, but I do want to give everybody here a general idea on who this player is and how important he could be to a team like FC Barcelona. So Carlos Baleba is a central defensive midfielder. He's left-footed. He's 20 years old and he is from Cameroon. He has been seen as a very talented central defensive midfielder, mainly because his strengths are all about tackles, interceptions, blocks, clearances, and what every central defensive midfielder should be having. He's not very well known for his goals nor his assists. I mean, like, he has 1 assist so far this season with 3 matches played, but overall in his career, he has never scored no more than 1 goal. As you can see here on his scouting report, you can see that in terms of his shots total, he's very strong. In terms of pass completion, he's also very strong. He has a 97% percentile. And then if you look at the bottom, like what we have discussed, his strengths really do rely on the tackles, interceptions, blocks, clearances, and aerials duels won. That is very impressive for a 20-year-old. This is exactly what a team like Barcelona do need, is a true number 6. Like, are you kidding me? A 85 percentile in tackles with 2.77, 1.27 interceptions per 90, 2.23 blocks per 90, 2.0.5 clearances per 90, 1.75 aerial duels won per 90. And if you look at his gameplay and how he does play, he's somebody that likes to open his body a lot to protect the ball. He's very hard to push down, and he is also very reliant on his left foot. I would even say that he's very smart when it comes to him getting fouled. He's very tactical when it comes to that. When he knows that he's about to lose the ball, he usually likes to come down after a slight touch and just win possession of the ball, very similar to Sergio Busquets. And when we do compare Carlos Baleba with Amadou Onana, a player that we have also wanted in the past summer, you can see that Baleba is defensively stronger than Onana. These are the stats from last season. In terms of successful tackles per 90, Onana is slightly stronger, but when it comes to blocks per 90, clearances per 90, headed clearances per 90, interceptions per 90, Baleba does beat Onana in those aspects of the game. So yes, I would welcome him as a player that could join FC Barcelona. If Barcelona had the financial pool to pull this move off maybe in January 2025, I think that they should go for it. Ultimately, it does depend on whether our players are fit or not. If our players, like maybe Frankie or Gavi, do not perform in the way that they should, maybe if we have some sort of injury crisis, a player like Carlos Baleba would really be welcomed. So now let's move on towards the next question. And we do have one coming from Gagok90. And he said, "Do you think Joan Laporta should bring back Mateo Lamine? And if yes, to work with Deco or alone?" I don't think that we should bring back Mateo Lamine for now, because to be honest, Deco should not be criticized yet. Deco should have continuity. It is too early to tell on what Deco can do by himself. There is no reason for us to like try and change something. Let's give Deco some time because he has not done enough damage, and let's see how he does perform once Barcelona do get back into the 1-1 rule. Let's remember, the best that we have seen coming from Mateo Lamine came through when Barcelona pulled their levers, when they got injected more than 550 or 650 million euros. That is why Mateo Lamine was able to do some damage and say we should sign this player, that player, and that player, and in that way we were able to critique him. With Deco, the same thing has to happen, but this time we cannot really depend on pulling levers. It's really ultimately going to depend on the Nike deal, the Spotify Camp Nou, and once we do have that type of income and Deco is able to say we can buy this player or this player and that player, then we can say, okay, did Deco do a good job, yes or no? Because it does not make any sense for us to critique Deco when we cannot even bring the players that we want in the first place. So as of now, I would say no, let's not bring back Mateo Lamine. Let's continue to work with Deco and see how he does in the summer of 2025. Moving on towards the next question coming from Dr. Abbas, and he has stated, "Hey Kevin, what kind of squad depth with qualities do you think Hansi Flick will be needing to get Barcelona dominating the whole of Europe again? And how long do you think that will take Barcelona to provide that to him? Because one thing is for sure, that Hansi Flick will deliver." So in a ideal world where everything is very good, where everything is positive, where everything is financially feasible, I would like to see Barcelona add more depth on the right back position. I think that we do need a very reliable world-class right back to be the backup to Jules Koundé. Jules Koundé plays a lot of minutes, and it does worry me a little bit to see that Koundé does not stop playing. He plays 90-minute matches like twice every week. Even with the international break, he also plays a lot of minutes. Yes, I know that we do have Hector Fort, but in a ideal world, I would like to see Barcelona go for somebody more experienced, just in case there is an injury crisis in the back line. I would also like to see Barcelona get a backup striker. I know that we do have Ferran Torres, Ansu Fati, I get it, but I think that we need somebody more reliable, somebody who is more seasoned to be the backup to Lewandowski. I would also like to see a backup right winger, right? Of course, Lamine Yamal is the only one that can produce good results on the right flank, and we only depend on him. But Lamine Yamal cannot be the only player we should be relying on the right wing position. We need another player. So in the end, does this mean that Barcelona are going to be in big trouble down the line? I'm going to say no. I just think that it would be nice to see Barcelona have that type of depth. I think that Hansi Flick will deliver for sure this season with the players that he does have. But once again, it would be much better to have that peace of mind to know that if there was ever an injury crisis later down this season, Barcelona will be okay because we have good quality depth. Moving on towards the next question, that is coming from Inaya-1U. And the question is, do you think we can win the Champions League this season, or is it just me? So I think that it is too early to tell. We have to really analyze Barcelona's performance by February 2025, because that is when we can really see the peak performance of Barcelona. That's usually how long it does take. It takes about 5 to 6 months into the season to know exactly just how Barcelona are performing. I believe that Barcelona is good enough to go out of the group stages and go to the next stage, and we're definitely good enough to compete in the quarterfinals. But in terms of winning the Champions League, I don't know. Can this Barcelona team beat a team like Manchester City that is very possession dominant? Can we beat a team like Real Madrid in the knockout stages when you know that a team like them like to thrive under great pressure? Can we beat a team like Inter Milan where they give us ugly games, right? Inter Milan is a great defensive team that will not make you play anything at all. Can we beat teams like that? We don't know. One thing is for sure, Barcelona need to be 100% healthy. We cannot have a team that says, oh yeah, we don't have Araujo, so we might lose this match. Oh yeah, we don't have Lamine Yamal, so we're not going to be having the creativity in this game. Barcelona have to be 100% healthy. Even with the absence of Pedri in the Champions League would hurt Barcelona a lot. So we need to be ready. There is no team that wins the Champions League while going through an injury crisis. No team. It did not happen to Bayern, it did not happen to Man City, and it did not happen to Real Madrid. You need to be 100% healthy. So I would say that for now, there is a 55% chance that Barcelona could win the Champions League this season. I would even go as far to say as 50% to win the Champions League for now. Once again, because we don't know how they might perform in about 2 or 3 months. They might end up becoming the best team in the world. We never know. But as of now, that is my whole idea. Moving on towards the next question, and that is coming from Ahmed Stone. And the question is, just a suggestion. Do you think Flick transforming Gavi into a Verratti or Kimmich type of DM cause we lacking a DM? So to clarify this question, he's basically asking, do you think that Hansi Flick should transform Gavi into a Kimmich or Verratti type of player because we don't have a DM right now? And I would say Gavi is already a DM. He does not need to really transform Gavi into anything. He is a true defensive midfielder. We saw that last season under Xavi Hernandez. He was transforming from becoming a great left winger to a great central defensive midfielder. We saw him become the main central defensive midfielder with Frankie de Jong, and it was extraordinary. The way that he maintained the ball, protect the ball, intercept the ball, he well-timed everything. I don't see any other position for him but the pivot position. And ideally, in a ideal world, if Gavi really does master that position, I would really like to see him form a double pivot with Pedri. Because look, when it comes to the number 8 position, it's already covered by Pedri and Frankie. When it comes to the number 10 position, it's already covered by Dani Olmo and Fermin Lopez. Rafinha can also play there. Gavi to me can become a destroyer, a Goretzka or Rodri type of player. And to have him become that type of player with Pedri in the double pivot position, it would produce great football for Barcelona. And you may say, but Kevin, you don't think that we need somebody taller, more physical to really win those type of games? It does make me a little nervous about having Gavi and Pedri in the double pivot positions. And I would say no. Xavi won big games already last season without a true pivot. Like for example, he won the game against Atletico Madrid with a midfield of Gundogan, Frankie, and Pedri. We had one of our best games on that day without having a very physical monster in the middle. Like Gundogan, Frankie, and Pedri do not stand for a player like Goretzka or Rodri. They're not physical monsters. They're not known for that. What having a great midfield is all about is about positioning, focus, and football IQ. These are qualities that Gavi and Pedri can possess together. And that is why a midfield of Gundogan, Frankie, and Pedri did work on that night. We were dominant. We won every ball. So now let's move on towards the next question, and that is coming from, once again, Ahmed Stone. And the reason why I'm answering another question from him is because I think that this question is very important. And he said, what do you think of the new direction the board is taking by investing in the African youth transfer market? Is it a good idea? And so once again, I had to answer this other question from him because I think that when it comes to the African market, dude, like I'm very excited and very enthusiastic and optimistic about what Barcelona can do within this realm. And so let me explain. Recently, Barcelona just signed 2 players from the African market, which is Abdul Aziz and David Oduru. Abdul Aziz is going to be loaned out, or I think that he's already loaned out to a different different club, and David Oduro is going to be a player that will be reinforcing Barca Athletic. So Barcelona are already bringing in players from the African market, and Barcelona are really working on analyzing countries like Senegal, Mali, and Ivory Coast. They have been in this market over the past year, and now they are making their first few moves. Because let me tell you, there is a lot of talent in African football. There is so much, and I think that Barcelona can do a lot of damage going into a market like that and really reinforce their first team and their B team. And up until this year, Barcelona are committed to making really big efforts to investing in the African football talents. Historically, Barcelona have always been like this, and they're going back to their roots. We kind of lost this in the past 2 or 3 years, but they're going back to their roots. With Barcelona facing financial constraints, you can find big top talents for a very good price in the African market. You don't necessarily have to go over there and like spend all this money in the Argentinian market or in the Brazilian market or anywhere there, because the players out there are just too expensive, too overexploited. Like, think about it, right? Endrick, how much did he cost? 65 million euros? Esteval Williams, a player that we also wanted, he was being priced at 68 million euros. Now he's going to Chelsea. It's really hard to compete in a market like that. That is why they have shifted their focus to countries like Senegal, Mali, Ivory Coast, and more. Maybe even Cameroon. I mean, like, bro, think about it, right? I do think that our best next center back in the future is going to be Mikayil Faye. I know that he has been loaned out to a different team, but for sure, there is like a 90% chance that he is going to be returning in the future. Barcelona will trigger the buyback clause. It's just very important for him to play a lot of minutes now to understand first team football. Right now, he cannot really get that chance because we have Christensen, Araujo, Jules Koundé can also play in the center back position. Inigo Martinez is performing very well. It was very tough for him to see some minutes, and he needs a lot of minutes right now because he is 20 years old or 19 years old, I believe. So it's the right move for Barcelona to loan him out to a different club to gain more experience. He will for sure come back and come back much stronger than ever before. So the Barcelona scout that we have right now that is in Africa, his name is Moussa Kone, and he does have strong local connections in that country. And so he's working very, very hard. And what's so beautiful about this whole thing is that not only is Barcelona just focused on bringing in brand new young talents from Africa, but they're also aiming to improve the quality of life for the young aspiring footballers out there. And that's beautiful. I love that. It gives Barcelona also a bigger presence within those regions. And so now moving on towards the last question, and that is coming from Shadeen Gun 4797. And the question is, what are your expectations with Lamine Yamal this season? I mean, how much games will he play if he is not injured, and how many goals and assists he can score this season across all competitive competitions? So in my opinion, I think that for me, looking at the trajectory, the momentum that he's building, I know that it is very dangerous for me to say this because he's only 17 years old, but I really do think that Lamine Yamal can finish this season with Barcelona with 12 goals and 10 assists, being involved in a total of 22 goals. He has the capacity to reach those type of numbers because he is simply just too effective. The team that surrounds Lamine Yamal works too well with him. He has everything. He's working on his goal composure. He's already a dribbling monster, a player that can find assists inside the box very easy with his crosses. I expect a lot coming from Lamine Yamal, and I know that we shouldn't because he's only 17. I know it's dangerous to say that, but that is the reality. What we have been witnessing is real. It's not in our imaginations on what he could do. No, it's real. Like, what he is doing is real football that we see in real time. If you perform at that level, you perform at that level. You don't expect to see Lamine Yamal go back into his form of a 14-year-old player. No, he's only going to get better from here as long as he continues to be healthy. And I hope that he does not get injured. This is why I do say that Barcelona need to sign a competitive right winger, somebody who can take his spot. But yeah, my expectations for Lamine Yamal is high. Not because I'm a huge fan of the player, but because he can actually do it. Like, he brings results. So don't blame me, blame him for being so good. And that is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.